Rin walked across the red sands of Corin, feeling the heat of the sun pressing down on his back. The planet was silent, except for the occasional gust of wind that stirred the dust around his boots. He had heard stories of the Vault of the Weeping Gods, an ancient place buried beneath the sands for thousands of years. Some people called it a myth, but Rin did not believe in myths. He believed in discovery, and his heart was full of curiosity. For weeks, Rin had studied maps, scanned the planet's surface, and followed strange energy signals that pulsed beneath the ground. Today, the signals were stronger than ever. The sand felt different here, denser, as if something lay hidden just below. Rin knelt down and ran his fingers across the surface. A faint vibration tickled his fingertips, sending a shiver up his spine. He smiled. This was it. He had found the entrance. He pulled out a small device from his pack, a scanner that would help him detect underground chambers. The screen flickered with lines and dots, forming a pattern that resembled a doorway. Rin adjusted the device and marked the spot. His eyes widened. The doorway was massive, much larger than any human construction should have been. Strange symbols covered the edges, glowing faintly in colors he had never seen. Rin brushed off the sand and pressed his hand against the door. The symbols pulsed as if responding to his touch. A low hum filled the air, growing louder with every second. He stepped back, startled, but excitement kept him moving forward. With a deep breath, Rin pushed on the door. It did not budge at first, but slowly it began to shift, opening into darkness. The air that escaped smelled metallic and cold, different from the hot, dry atmosphere outside. Rin hesitated at the threshold. He could feel the weight of history pressing down on him. Many explorers had come to Corin seeking treasure or glory, but none had returned from the vault. The locals whispered that the weeping gods were guardians of the secrets inside. They did not cry for humans. They cried because they were tired of watching civilizations rise and fall. Rin felt a chill but reminded himself that fear was not reason to turn back. He stepped inside. The air was cool and still. Shadows danced across the walls as Rin's torch moved with him. The walls were smooth, almost liquid in appearance, reflecting faint light in strange patterns. Symbols lined every surface, moving slowly as if alive. Rin could not read them, but he sensed they told a story, a warning, and perhaps an invitation. He moved forward carefully, every step echoing in the empty. Hauled out after some distance, Rin came to a large chamber. In the center, a pedestal rose from the floor, and on it lay a strange object. It was small, a glowing orb, but it shined with a light that seemed to come from nowhere. Rin approached it slowly. The closer he got, the more he felt a connection. As if the orb recognized him, he reached out. The moment his fingers brushed the surface, the light expanded and filled the room. Symbols on the walls became clearer. They showed images of planets, stars, and beings of strange forms. Rin realized he was seeing visions of civilizations that had existed long before humans. Suddenly, a voice spoke. It was soft, like a whisper in the wind, but Rin heard it clearly. Who seeks the knowledge of the weeping gods? Rin jumped back, looking around. No one was there. I am Rin, he said, his voice steady despite the fear in his chest. I seek knowledge and understanding. I wish to learn. The voice paused, then replied, Knowledge has a price. Are you prepared to face what you do not understand? Rin nodded. I am ready. The chamber responded with a low hum, and the orb floated into the air, circling him slowly. Light streamed from it, highlighting the walls and symbols. Rin noticed patterns in the symbols that matched the vibrations he had felt outside. He realized the vault was testing him, gauging his mind and spirit. It wanted to know if he was worthy. Hours passed as Rin studied the chamber. The orb pulsed with energy, guiding him to notice small details he might have missed. The floor shifted slightly under his feet, forming paths that led to other rooms. Rin followed them, discovering new chambers, each filled with strange machines. More symbols and visions of the past. The vault was not just a tomb or a storage place. It was alive, and it remembered everything. At the end of the day, Rin stepped back into the first chamber and looked at the orb. He felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. Whatever secrets lay inside the vault, they were not just treasures. They were lessons from beings who had watched countless worlds rise and fall. Rin realized that this journey was only the beginning. Humanity had much to learn, and perhaps, if they were wise, they could rise to meet the challenges ahead. And took a deep breath and prepared to move deeper into the vault. The air seemed heavier now, filled with promise and danger. Every step he took was a step into the unknown. The vault waited silently, and Rin knew that it would not give its secrets easily. But he was ready. Humanity was ready. And somewhere deep inside the red sands of Korin, the weeping gods were watching. Rin moved deeper into the vault, feeling the chill grow with every step. The light from the orb hovered near him, illuminating symbols and patterns on the walls that seemed to shift as he walked. The air smelled of metal and ancient stone. Rin knew he had left the surface world far behind. Here, time felt different, slower, as if the vault itself controlled the rhythm of life. After a while, Rin entered a hall that stretched farther than his eyes could see. The ceiling arched high, carved with images of strange beings holding tools and machines beyond human understanding. The symbols on the walls told stories, and Rin could sense the echoes of civilizations that had long vanished. He ran his fingers lightly across the smooth stone, imagining the hands that had built this place. The thought filled him with respect and awe. Suddenly, a sound broke the silence. Footsteps, though faint, came from behind. Rin spun around, his heart racing. From the shadows, a figure emerged. It was a man slightly older, wearing a simple cloak and carrying a small pack. His hair was gray at the edges, but his eyes were sharp. "I did not expect anyone to reach this far," the man said calmly. "I am Toma. I have studied the vault for years. Who are you?" "I am Rin," Rin replied, steadying his voice. "I came to learn. I want to understand the vault and what the weeping gods left behind." Toma nodded slowly, his expression serious. Few come with pure intent. Many seek wealth, power, or glory. The vault does not forgive foolish ambition. You must be careful. Rin stepped closer. "I am ready for the challenge. I want to prove humanity can be worthy." Toma studied him for a moment. "Words are easy. The vault tests more than courage. It tests the mind and the heart. If you are not careful, it will show you truths that you are not ready to face." They continued together, moving deeper into the hall. The orb floated ahead, lighting the way, and the symbols on the walls began to glow brighter. Rin noticed that some symbols seemed to react to him, pulsing faster when he looked directly at them. Toma explained that the vault was alive in a way humans rarely understood. It could sense intentions, measure thoughts, and test patience. After walking for some time, they reached a room that opened into a vast chamber. The floor was covered with a mosaic of glowing lines, forming a network of patterns that shifted under their feet. In the center stood a pedestal, empty except for a small console. Rin approached and touched it. Lights flashed and a projection rose into the air. It showed a planet in flames, people running, and a city falling into ruin. The image vanished, replaced by another, showing a world where people worked together, building machines and exploring space. Rin realized the vault was showing choices, consequences, and possibilities. Toma spoke softly. "These are lessons. The weeping gods did not just leave knowledge. They left guidance. They want species to grow, to learn from past mistakes. They judge by actions, not words. Rin nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. Humanity had faced many challenges, and the vault was a mirror showing what they could become. Suddenly, the ground trembled. A low hum filled the chamber, growing louder. The walls glowed with symbols that moved rapidly, forming shapes of creatures with wings and glowing eyes. Rin and Toma stepped back, realizing the vault had summoned guardians. They were not alive in the usual sense, but functioned as tests. The guardians did not attack immediately. Instead, they observed, circling the chamber, measuring reactions. Watching movements, Ian thought quickly. He remembered the patterns on the floor and the sequences of light from the orb. He noticed that each guardian followed predictable paths, responding to motion and sound. He whispered to Toma, "We need to move together, not rush. We must show intelligence, not fear." Toma nodded. They synchronized their steps, predicting the guardians' movement, using the glowing paths to guide them. The guardians paused, then retreated slightly, as if approving their actions. Rin realized that the vault rewarded thinking, cooperation, and calm under pressure. Hours passed as they navigated through shifting floors, strange puzzles, and chambers filled with holographic lessons. Rin felt a mixture of excitement and exhaustion. He could sense the vault testing endurance, but he also felt hope. Humanity had survived many challenges, and perhaps they could rise to meet the expectations of the weeping gods. As they rested. In a smaller chamber, Rin looked at Toma. "Why did you come here alone before?" he asked. Toma sighed. "I wanted to study and learn without distraction. I did not know if humanity was ready for the lessons. Now, seeing you, I think there is hope. The vault does not test strength alone. It tests understanding, patience, and heart. You have these qualities, Rin." Rin smiled faintly, feeling the truth in Toma's words. He knew the journey ahead would be harder, filled with challenges and trials. But for the first time, he felt that humanity could rise to meet them. The vault waited silently, full of secrets and lessons, and Rin was ready to face whatever came next. Together, he and Toma stepped forward, deeper into the unknown, toward the heart of the vault of the weeping gods. Rin and Toma walked cautiously through a narrow corridor. The walls were smooth and cold, with symbols that shifted slowly, like liquid light. The orb floated ahead, illuminating their path. Every step they took echoed through the silent hall, reminding them how alone they were in the vast vault. Rin could feel the weight of history pressing down on him. This place had seen countless civilizations, and yet it remained. They reached a massive door carved from a single piece of stone. Strange symbols glowed along its edges, forming patterns that seemed to pulse with life. Rin touched the door lightly, and the symbols responded, brightening as if recognizing his presence. A low hum filled the corridor, vibrating through his body. Toma stepped closer and whispered, "The threshold tests the heart as much as the mind." "Are you ready, Rin?" Rin nodded firmly, taking a deep breath. "I am ready." The door began to move, slowly sliding open to reveal a chamber unlike any they had seen. The ceiling arched high, disappearing into shadows. Pillars of smooth silver metal rose from the floor, stretching upward, carrying streams of light along their surfaces. In the center of the chamber was a pool of glowing water, calm and still, reflecting images of stars and planets above. Rin felt drawn to it, sensing that it held a secret or a message from the weeping gods. As they stepped closer, the water shimmered and a vision appeared. Rin saw a group of beings, not human, working together to build machines and explore their world. Their movements were careful, intelligent, and full of cooperation. Then the vision changed. The same group became divided, fighting for control and dominance. The world around them collapsed, buildings crumbling, skies burning. Rin realized the vault was showing him lessons, choices, and consequences. Toma spoke softly. The vault teaches through vision. It does not tell you what is right or wrong. It shows possibilities and lets you understand the cost of actions. Watch closely. Rin, this is more than a test of courage. It is a test of wisdom. Rin nodded, feeling the truth in Toma's words. He studied the vision, trying to understand the lessons hidden within it. He saw that cooperation, patience, and thoughtfulness allowed civilizations to thrive, while selfishness and greed led to ruin. Suddenly, the water in the pool began to ripple, and the room shifted. From the shadows, figures emerged. They were guardians, tall and winged, with eyes that glowed like the symbols on the walls. They moved silently but with purpose, watching Rin and Toma carefully. Rin felt no fear. He remembered the patterns he had noticed earlier, the way the vault responded to thought and action. These guardians were not enemies, but tests. Rin whispered to Toma, "We need to move carefully." The guardians respond to thought and motion. We must show understanding, not fear. Toma nodded, and they began to step forward in unison. There, movement slow and deliberate. The guardians observed, tilting their heads as if analyzing every gesture. Rin noticed that when they acted with patience and intelligence, the guardians did not block their path. Instead, they allowed progress, testing their ability to think and adapt. They reached a series of smaller rooms, each containing puzzles and devices unlike anything Rin had ever seen. Some required combining energy patterns, others required aligning symbols and sequences that reflected harmony and balance. Each puzzle was challenging, but Rin and Toma discovered that by working together and observing carefully, they could solve them. The vault seemed to recognize their effort, rewarding them with light and guiding pathways deeper into the structure. Hours passed as they moved through the chamber, facing puzzles, visions, and shifting floors. Rin felt exhaustion but also excitement. Every challenge made him more aware of the intelligence behind the vault, and he realized how much humanity could learn from such wisdom. He understood that strength alone was not enough. Intelligence, cooperation, and understanding were just as important. At the end of the chamber, they found a platform rising slowly from the floor. On it was a small console with a glowing orb similar to the one that had guided them. Rin approached and touched it. Instantly, the platform lifted, revealing a staircase descending into darkness. The walls glowed faintly, illuminating the steps. Rin felt a mixture of fear and anticipation. This was the path forward, deeper into the heart of the vault, where the weeping gods had hidden their most profound lessons. Toma looked at Rin. This is the point where many turn back. The path ahead will test you more than anything so far. The vault measures not only skill and knowledge, but also your spirit and resolve. Rin straightened, feeling a surge of determination. I am ready to learn. Humanity must be ready, and I will not turn back. The two explorers stepped onto the staircase, descending carefully into the unknown. The air grew cooler, and the light from the walls flickered as if the vault itself was alive and breathing. Rin felt the presence of the weeping gods watching them, testing their resolve and waiting for them to prove that they were worthy. Every step was a challenge, every shadow a question, but Rin knew they had come too far to turn back. As they reached the bottom of the staircase, a vast door stood before them, taller than any building Rin had seen. Symbols danced along its surface, and the low hum of the vault filled the chamber. Rin took a deep breath, ready to face whatever lay beyond. The journey was only beginning, and the vault had more to reveal. Humanity's test had begun in earnest, and Rin was determined to see it through. Rin and Toma stood before the massive door, its surface alive with glowing symbols. The hum of the vault filled the chamber, vibrating through their bodies. Every instinct told Rin that what lay beyond was unlike anything they had faced before. He felt anticipation and caution, understanding that the vault's deepest secrets waited on the other side. Toma placed his hand gently on the door. "This threshold is more than a test of intelligence," he said. "It will measure courage, wisdom, and purpose. Step carefully." Rin nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. With a deep breath, he reached out and touched the glowing surface. The symbols pulsed under his fingers, responding to his presence. Slowly, the door began to open, revealing a corridor bathed in a soft, silver light. The corridor stretched endlessly, with walls that shimmered like liquid metal. The air was cooler here, and Rin could feel a strange energy flowing through him. The orb floated beside him, guiding the way. As they walked, visions appeared on the walls. They showed entire civilizations rising from simple beginnings to great heights, working together to explore, build, and discover. Then the vision shifted, showing what could happen if greed, fear, or selfishness took control. Cities fell, forests burned, and oceans turned dark. Rin realized the vault was teaching lessons not only about knowledge, but about choices and consequences. Suddenly, the corridor widened into a circular chamber. In the center, a pedestal held a crystal sphere that pulsed with light like a heartbeat. Rin approached cautiously. The orb hovered near the sphere, its glow merging with the light of the crystal. As Rin reached out, the crystal projected a vision into the air. It showed a planet under attack by a massive storm. People worked together to protect each other and save their world. The vision then shifted, showing the same planet destroyed by fear and division. Rin understood that the vault was showing the power of unity and cooperation. Toma stepped forward. "The crystal is teaching through examples. It shows what is possible and what can go wrong. Observe carefully, Rin. There's wisdom here beyond what any human mind has yet learned." Rin studied the vision, realizing that every action had consequences, not only for individuals, but for entire civilizations. He felt a mixture of awe and determination. Humanity had the potential to reach great heights, but it would take effort. Understanding and courage thought. As they continued, the floor began to shift. Panels of metal moved, revealing paths that led into new chambers. Guardians appeared silently from the shadows. They were taller and more complex than those before, with wings and eyes that glowed like molten metal. They circled the room, observing every move. Rin remembered the lessons of patience and intelligence. He whispered to Toma, "We move with caution, showing understanding, not fear." Toma nodded. They stepped carefully along the shifting floor, predicting the Guardians' movements and staying within the safe paths. The Guardians did not block them, but observed silently, as if approving their careful approach. In the next chamber, they found puzzles unlike any before. Machines of strange design required coordination, thought, and timing to operate. Lights, symbols, and energy flows needed to align perfectly. Rin and Toma worked together, combining observation and logic. The vault seemed to respond to their effort, guiding them with subtle shifts in light and vibration. Every success made the path ahead clearer, and Rin could feel the vault recognizing their progress. Hours passed as they moved from chamber to chamber. Each challenge tested different aspects of mind and spirit. Rin realized that the vault was more than a series of puzzles. It was a living record of civilizations, a guide for those who could understand its lessons. It rewarded cooperation, intelligence, patience, and courage. It also showed the cost of failure, reminding Rin that wisdom came with responsibility. Finally, they reached a chamber with a high ceiling, where a stream of silver light flowed from above, forming a bridge of energy. On the other side stood another massive door, covered in symbols more complex than any they had seen. Rin understood that beyond this door lay the heart of the vault, the place where the weeping gods had stored their deepest knowledge. Toma turned to Rin. This is the most difficult part. Many have reached this point and turned back. Are you prepared to continue? Rin felt a surge of determination. I am ready. Humanity must be ready, and I will not turn back. Together, they stepped onto the bridge of energy. It pulsed beneath their feet, responding to their balance and intention. Shadows moved around them, guardians watching from a distance. Rin felt the presence of the vault more strongly than ever, as if it were alive and aware. Every step brought them closer to the core, where secrets and lessons awaited that could change the understanding of civilizations forever. At the end of the bridge, the final door loomed large. Its surface shimmered, showing glimpses of worlds and stars beyond. Rin knew that what lay beyond would test them as never before. He took a deep breath and reached for the door, feeling the energy of the vault flowing through him. The journey had been long, full of challenges and lessons, but he was ready. The heart of the vault of the weeping gods awaited, and Rin understood that the fate of understanding and knowledge rested in the choices they made next. Rin and Toma stood before the final door, its surface alive with moving light. The symbols danced and shifted, forming patterns that seemed almost like a language, yet impossible to read. Rin could feel a deep energy radiating from the door. It was not just a barrier, but a living presence, guarding something important. Toma stepped closer and said, "The heart of the vault is beyond this door. Whatever awaits us will test everything we have learned. Be ready, Rin." Rin nodded, feeling a mixture of fear and determination. He touched the door carefully, letting his fingers follow the glowing lines. The door responded immediately, opening slowly with a sound like wind flowing through crystal. Beyond it lay a vast chamber, unlike anything Rin had imagined. The ceiling disappeared into shadows, and the floor reflected a sky filled with stars. In the center floated a platform of light, shimmering like liquid silver, holding a massive crystal globe. The orb they had followed until now hovered beside the platform, spinning gently. As Rin stepped forward, the globe began to glow, projecting images into the air. He saw planets, civilizations, and entire galaxies. Each scene told a story of growth, struggle, cooperation, and knowledge. Then the images changed, showing worlds falling into chaos when fear, greed, or pride guided the people. Rin realized that this chamber was the core of the vault. It held the memory of all that had been, all that could be, and all that must be learned. Toma moved beside Rin, whispering, "The weeping gods recorded everything here. They do not act as judges, but as teachers. Observe and understand. The vault wants wisdom, not force." Rin nodded, studying the visions carefully. He saw that civilizations that survived and thrived worked together, shared knowledge, and cared for their worlds. The failures were not because of weakness, but because of poor choices, lack of understanding, and division. Suddenly, the crystal globe emitted a pulse of light, and the chamber shifted. Guardians appeared around them, more powerful than any before. Their wings were vast, and their eyes glowed like molten silver. They moved without sound, circling Rin and Toma, examining them closely. Rin understood that these were the final tests. The Guardians did not attack. Instead, they tested thought, courage, and clarity. Rin whispered to Toma, "We must remain calm and show that we understand the vault's lessons." Toma nodded, and they stepped carefully around the Guardians, keeping movement slow and deliberate. The Guardians tilted their heads, following their progress. Whenever Rin acted with clear purpose and wisdom, the Guardians stepped aside, allowing passage. He realized that the vault rewarded patience, intelligence, and understanding. Every wrong step was corrected, but the Guardians never punished. They only guided Dot as they approached the platform. The crystal globe projected a new vision. It showed a being like the weeping gods, shaping worlds and guiding life. Rin could feel the intelligence and care in the figure. Then the vision changed to show that power alone was meaningless without understanding. The weeping gods wept for civilizations that failed to learn, not because they were weak, but because they ignored lessons that could have saved them. Rin felt the weight of the responsibility humanity might one day face. He turned to Toma, saying, "The vault is more than history. It is guidance. It shows us the cost of ignorance and the value of wisdom." Toma smiled faintly. "Yes, Rin. The weeping gods wanted their knowledge to survive in those who are willing to learn. Humanity can grow if it listens." Rin reached for the crystal globe, and it responded immediately, opening a path of light toward the next chamber. They stepped onto the platform, feeling it rise slowly into the air. The chamber expanded, revealing walls covered in living light, displaying the sum of the vault's lessons. Patterns and symbols moved like rivers, showing the rise and fall of civilizations across time and space. Rin realized that this knowledge was not meant to be taken all at once. It was a guide, a way to understand the choices that shaped worlds. At the far end of the chamber, a final vision appeared. It showed a future where humanity faced challenges greater than any before. It also showed that through cooperation, courage, and understanding, they could overcome them and reach heights unimaginable. Rin felt hope and determination fill him. He understood that the vault was not only a test for him, but a promise for all who sought wisdom. Toma placed a hand on Rin's shoulder. "We have reached the heart. What you learn here can shape the future. Remember, Rin, the vault teaches those who are ready to understand, not those who seek power. Keep the lessons in your mind and heart." Rin nodded, feeling the energy of the vault flow through him. Every vision, every guardian, every puzzle had led to this moment. He was ready to carry the knowledge forward. As the platform descended, Rin looked back at the floating globe, the guardians, and the light-filled chamber. He knew that the journey was far from over. The vault had tested them, revealed secrets, and offered wisdom. Humanity would have to prove that it could learn and act with intelligence, courage, and unity. Rin and Toma stepped off the platform, ready to face whatever challenges awaited outside the vault, carrying the lessons of the weeping gods in their hearts. Rin and Toma stepped out of the floating platform and into a new chamber, one that felt different from the others. The air shimmered with energy, and the walls seemed alive, breathing faint light in rhythm with the crystal globe they had just left behind. This chamber was quiet, but carried a weight that made Rin's chest tighten. He could feel that the final challenges of the vault awaited here, tests that would go beyond intellect and courage. Toma looked at him, his face calm but serious. "This is the chamber where the vault tests your spirit. It is not only about what you know, but who you are. Are you ready, Rin?" Rin nodded, feeling a mixture of fear and determination. He had come too far to turn back. The chamber shifted suddenly, and the floor beneath them transformed into a field of light. Paths appeared, floating above a dark void. The paths moved and changed constantly, twisting into patterns that seemed impossible to navigate. Rin took a careful step, realizing that this was a test of focus and trust. He needed to move with purpose and not let fear control him. Toma followed closely, and together they began walking along the shifting paths, adjusting to every change with patience and awareness. As they moved forward, figures appeared along the paths. They were shadowed forms, reflecting Rin and Toma's own fears, doubts, and memories. Rin saw moments from his past, times when he had made mistakes, when he had been afraid, or when he had doubted himself. The shadows tried to slow him, whispering in voices that seemed both familiar and strange. Rin's heart raced, but he remembered the lessons of the vault. He focused on what he had learned on courage, wisdom, and unity. He acknowledged the shadows without fear and stepped past them, keeping his mind clear. The paths led them to a section filled with mirrors, each reflecting not only their images, but entire worlds and civilizations. Rin could see futures that were bright and others that were dark. Some showed people working together to achieve greatness, while others showed failure and despair. The mirrors challenged Rin to see beyond fear and ego, to understand that the choices they made affected more than themselves. Toma moved beside him, guiding and encouraging. "Do not fear what you see," he said. "Learn from it. Let it strengthen your resolve." Suddenly, a deep rumble filled the chamber. The floor shifted again, forming a bridge of light suspended above an endless void. On the bridge, shapes emerged, guardians more immense and powerful than any before. They moved with grace, testing Rin and Toma's balance and focus. The guardians did not attack, but created obstacles, forcing them to adjust, think, and work together. Rin realized that this challenge was about trust, coordination, and understanding. Every step required attention, patience, and unity. They moved carefully, supporting each other across the bridge. The guardians tested not only their physical balance, but their mental strength. Shadows of doubt appeared again, trying to make Rin question his abilities. But he remembered the lessons of the crystal globe and the visions of civilizations. He focused on purpose, understanding, and courage. With each careful step, the guardians allowed them to progress, recognizing their readiness and clarity. At the far side of the bridge, a final challenge awaited. A massive doorway formed from living light, covered in symbols that seemed to shift according to thought and emotion. Rin felt the vault responding to their minds, testing not only knowledge and courage but the heart. He stepped forward, feeling the energy of the vault flow through him. Toma followed closely, ready to face the final moment. The doorway opened, revealing a chamber filled with a soft golden light. In the center floated a crystal that held the essence of the vault's wisdom. Rin approached, feeling the presence of the weeping gods as if they were watching, waiting to see if he was ready. The chamber projected visions of the future, not just for humanity, but for all who could learn from the vault. Rin realized that this was the true heart of the weeping god's legacy. It was not a weapon, not a secret for power, but a guide to understanding, unity, and wisdom. Ein placed his hand on the crystal. A pulse of light spread through the chamber, and he felt knowledge flowing into him. He understood that the vault had tested everything: intelligence, courage, patience, understanding, and heart. Every challenge had prepared him for this moment. The vision showed not only what could be achieved, but the responsibility that came with knowledge. Toma watched quietly, knowing that Rin had reached the pinnacle of the vault's lessons. Chamber then began to shift again, returning to the first space where they had entered. Rin felt changed, as if the vault itself had become a part of him. The guardians had disappeared, leaving only the memory of their tests. The orb hovered beside him, shining with a calm light, guiding them toward the exit. Rin knew that what they had learned would shape not only their journey, but the future of those who could follow in their steps. Stepping toward the exit, Rin turned to Toma and said, "The vault has given us more than knowledge. It has shown us what it means to grow, to choose, and to protect. We must carry this forward with care." Toma nodded, a smile of quiet pride on his face. "Yes, Rin, the journey is not over. But now we are ready to face the world, carrying the lessons of the weeping gods with us." Rin felt hope fill him. The vault had tested them, guided them, and revealed its wisdom. The final challenge had been more than physical or mental. It had been a journey of the spirit. They were ready to leave, prepared to share the knowledge and protect the legacy they had uncovered. Rin and Toma stepped out of the vault into the cool air of the outside world. The journey through the chambers, the guardians, and the crystal visions had changed them. The sky above shimmered with soft colors of sunset, and the wind carried a sense of calm and renewal. Rin took a deep breath, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. He realized that the vault had not only tested them, but had prepared them to carry knowledge that could change the future. Toma looked at Rin with a quiet smile. "We have learned more than we imagined. Now the real work begins. The vault has shared its wisdom, but it is up to us to use it wisely." Rin nodded, understanding the truth of Toma's words. Knowledge alone was not enough. It required action, courage, and care to shape a better future. They walked toward their ship, the orb of light floating beside them. The journey back to their home world would be long, but Rin felt ready. He thought about the visions in the vault, the civilizations that had succeeded and those that had failed. He realized that every choice mattered. Every action could make a difference. The lessons of the weeping gods were not meant to be kept hidden. They were meant to guide, teach, and inspire as they traveled through space. Rin and Toma discussed their plans. They would share the knowledge with those willing to listen, those ready to learn. They would help others understand the importance of unity, cooperation, and wisdom. Rin felt hope grow within him. He saw a future where people could work together, build great civilizations, and avoid the mistakes that had caused so many to fail. During their journey, Rin often returned in his mind to the final chamber, the crystal of the vault, and the pulse of energy that had filled him. He understood that the vault's wisdom was alive, not static. It would grow as those who learned from it applied it. Every action taken with care, every choice made with understanding, would strengthen the legacy of the weeping gods. When they reached their home world, Rin and Toma were greeted with curiosity and concern. People had heard of their journey, and now they wanted to know what they had discovered. Rin spoke to them with calm confidence. He shared the lessons of the vault, explaining the importance of learning from the past, working together, and making choices that strengthened rather than destroyed. He told stories of the civilizations shown in the visions, showing both their triumphs and their failures. At first, some listened with doubt, unsure if the vault's wisdom could truly make a difference. But as Rin spoke, his conviction and clarity inspired hope. People began to understand that the future was not fixed, that their actions mattered, and that they could shape their world for the better. The lessons of the vault spread slowly but steadily, like light pushing back shadows. Rin and Toma worked tirelessly, guiding others, teaching, and sharing the knowledge they had gained. They created councils to discuss challenges, to solve problems together, and to make decisions with wisdom and care. Slowly, their world began to change. Communities worked in harmony, resources were shared, and disputes were solved with understanding, rather than anger. Rin saw that the vault's wisdom was taking root, growing into something real and strong. One evening, Rin stood beneath the stars, the same stars he had seen in the vault, reflecting on everything they had experienced. He felt the presence of the weeping gods, not as figures of judgment, but as teachers who had shared their legacy with those ready to learn. He understood that the vault was not a place to be conquered, but a guide to be followed. A light in the darkness of uncertainty. Toma joined him, looking up at the sky. "We have done well, Rin. The people are learning. They are starting to understand. The vault's wisdom is alive in them now." Rin smiled, feeling a sense of peace and purpose. "Yes, Toma, but we must continue. The journey does not end here. Every day brings new choices, new challenges. We must keep guiding, keep learning, and keep sharing." As the years passed, Rin and Toma became leaders, not through power, but through knowledge, compassion, and example. The world they returned to transformed into a place of growth, cooperation, and understanding. The lessons of the vault lived on in every decision made with care, in every mind inspired to think beyond fear and division. And sometimes, when Rin looked up at the night sky, he felt the faint pulse of the vault, reminding him that the weeping, God's guidance was always near, waiting for those ready to learn. He knew that as long as people listened, understood, and chose wisely, the light of the vault would never fade. The vault had tested them, challenged them, and taught them. In the end, it had given them more than knowledge. It had given them purpose, hope, and the power to shape a future where civilizations could rise and thrive. Rin and Toma had become the bearers of that legacy, carrying the lessons of the weeping gods into the world, ensuring that the light of wisdom would continue to shine for generations to come.